Well, it's Titanium Tuesday, and this is like a superhero, supervillain type thing, and you just can't go wrong with this the hero that helps defeat the Nazis.
A good old archaeologist.
Indiana Jones.
Would have thunk.
I know. We needed to do this fun one because we just did the Indiana Jones 5 Dial of Destiny thing. It wasn't as fun.
No.
This 1981.
CGI was better.
Way better. I mean, the cinematography, though, oh boy.
It's like they actually went to locations to film these scenes.
I know.
Which is a concept one would never think of.
And back then, it was a budget of $20 million to do all that they did here.
Yeah.
And they made $389 million, it says in the box office.
Do you know what Harrison Ford made on the new one? $20 million.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
So he made what this budget was in one film.
Yeah.
Which is so bad because he is so much better in this film. And
100%.
He cared. He was improvising. He cared about the character. Like this scene specifically right here where it's the whip of like, man, I really don't want to fight this guy. I guess I have a gun. It's kind of cool what he's doing.
Do you know why he did that?
Because he was like super sick.
Yeah, he improvised that scene that became famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, he was super ill.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, I don't want to film. I don't want to do this. I don't over and over.
A hot set. Yeah. Gosh, it was so much fun.
Yeah, it was.
Got people you hate. Like the villains were villains. You didn't like they set up from the very beginning. You don't like Belloq because he just steals the stuff that Indiana does.
Yes.
And the whole film, he's just a terrible guy.
Right.
Love it.
The whole cat and mouse game that they have throughout the whole film.
Right.
Obviously, this was like another big risk for Lucas, and Spielberg was involved back then. But Lucas had a lot of faith in it, like he did in Star Wars a few years previous, and he just poured everything into it. It was obvious he poured everything into it, which then it clearly did very well.
Right. Amazing. Movies that people like are invested into making actually turn out good versus like let's just get as much money as we can.
Right. They didn't do it as the grift back then. We've talked about on other episodes like the art. Yeah. Like this was like, hey, we want to do this art. Let's see how it goes.
Right.
And there was 2 other films after this that were also very good.
Yeah.
It was really the story arc in all 3 of them. I mean, it just went very well.
They had the beginning, they had the end. I mean, again, you talk about this kind of with James Bond of like they kind of just pushed him out, but they knew what stories they were going to tell, which is why you got the high quality. Same thing you could tell in this film is I feel like you didn't necessarily like probably George Lucas believed it was going well, but you just never know. But like, I'm sure he already had the 3 planned out, like he had the Star Wars trilogy planned out.
Right. Absolutely. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, they didn't actually have the signed deal for the next one, Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
He probably did have it written, or at least the concept of it. I totally agree with that. It was like Star Wars, Indy. It was almost like and I'm not sure, I'm just saying it was almost like they said, we're going to make revolutionary films.
Yep.
And that's what we want to do.
And it showed because how many like trademarks do other movies copy from Indiana Jones?
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
People just wish they could be good as this original.
And they can't.
Yeah. But like, we talked about, the whip scene. We talk about the whole rock scene at the beginning. You talk about the whole airplane scene, the end scene of where everybody melts their face off. Like, there are so many beats within this film, and it doesn't all happen at once.
Right.
And you're like, oh, that was a really cool scene. Wait a few minutes. Oh, that was another cool scene. Yeah. And it all makes sense together. And
how the medallion got burned into the guy's hand was really cool because it was a 2-sided.
Right.
So they did. Right. So they made this staff height based off of the one side, not both sides. And the story was that kind of stuff that they put together. They spent time on it.
Yeah.
And like you say earlier, nowadays they push them out.
Yeah.
and they spent time on the story and what they were going to do and how this would look and all those things, instead of like, let's throw it together. We're gonna get 100 people to do the opening 15 minutes of Indiana Jones, and it's like there wasn't even 100 people on this film probably.
Did you hear the theory of, you know, without, like, if Indiana Jones wasn't in this film, it would be the same exact storyline?
Right.
Yeah, which I think is, I mean, again, it's one of those perspectives. I remember when I first heard it, I was like, oh, yeah, I guess you're probably right about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is kind of funny. And then the whole Area 51 at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
or they put the Ark in the box.
Oh, yeah.
Storage house.
Right, yeah. Which became...
Right.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So
because I don't think that was Area 51.
Maybe it wasn't.
But it was the
house.
Yeah.
Or maybe I think it explained in later films.
You did explain in later films.
Okay, that's what it was.
It kind of became, I think, Area
probably
51.
The Crystal Skull.
The Crystal Skull, it did, yes. But that would have been pre-actual Area 51.
Right. Yeah.
In the line of history. Yeah. Not that it didn't essentially exist.
Yeah.
But So he was a hero.
Yep.
Like.
He cared. This has got to go to the museum. We got to get it to the people so that they can admire the art. You can admire the history.
I was trying to find the word. Like, he was the people's hero.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's great.
Iconic wardrobe, iconic music.
Yeah.
Like, there's this. Oh, there's so much stuff in this film that's not iconic.
Right.
It stands out.
Yeah.
You see a single picture of a scene. Oh, Indiana Jones.
Yep.
You hear a sound. Oh, that's from Indiana Jones.
Exactly.
Not a lot of movies can say they can do that.
Right. And especially that it holds up.
Yeah.
Like, you watch this now, it holds up.
The end scene with the people melting face is funnier to watch now.
That's
the whole everything
overall,
getting up to that point is pretty funny.
I mean, I think they literally did wax people.
Oh, without a doubt.
You know, so which it's still real.
Yeah.
Not computer generated, so which is fun. But I forgot about that. Yeah,
that's because hilarious. It's a pretty horrific scene.
It's very horrific.
It's one that you probably do black out frequently. It's like, I guess that's a whole different movie. I always forget at the end of the Dead Poets Society that the one guy commits suicide.
Oh, sure.
And it's like because I mean, he's such a good character at the whole thing, and then all of a sudden, like, oh yeah, I didn't want to remember this part.
Right. Yep.
Did not want to remember people's faces getting melted off.
Yes, no, exactly. What do you got? What else?
The only other thing is, it does. I mean, in the later films, what they do is go too far in the sci-fi when it comes to, you know, aliens, time travel, and stuff like this. This was a perfect blend of, like, mysticism that made sense within the world still.
Yeah,
and it was such a limited part of the movie.
Yeah, the pursuit of this item was the movie.
Yeah.
And that mysticism, the melting of the face.
Yeah.
You know, that was the sci-fi-ish type stuff, I suppose.
And they did that in the second film, they did that in the third film.
Yes.
And I think that's where it needs to land and not be. I think they technically did that with Crystal Skull, of pursuing the skull, and the aliens didn't show up until the end. But that's just way too far off.
Well, it started, though, Crystal Skull, it started, though, as the doctor that she wanted that power. That started that way.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, Hitler wanted the power of the Ark.
Right, but so it was... So they introduced it right away.
Yeah,
but we didn't really know they were aliens till basically the end. But, yeah, it was weird.
Yeah, other than that, I mean, and this isn't your traditional Titanium Tuesday of, like, you got superheroes that can go fly and have super intelligence. I mean, he does have.
And Batman has super gadgets.
That's right, super gas. But I mean, this is really what you're hoping for when it comes to. Again, we've talked about in the past. There's clear good. There's clear evil. The story makes sense throughout the whole film. That's all you can ask for.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I enjoyed myself thoroughly.
Titanium Tuesday signing out.
Send us an email at LegitQ@Matty'sMovieMix.com.
We appreciate you.
Titanium Tuesday!
Life's too short to wear a shirt. I mean, a boring shirt. check out www.shinybrandproducts.com.